Did you know for Shakespeare in Love, Winona Ryder claimed that Gwyneth Paltrow, then her close friend, saw the script in her home in 1997 and asked if she could read it, and then got the Oscar-winning part without telling Ryder that she was going to audition for it. The former friends haven't spoken since the late 1990s. Paltrow, however, vehemently denies this happened. 2. Imelda Staunton and Jim Carter are married in real life, and in this movie, they played the same role. Staunton played the nurse off stage, and Carter played the nurse on stage. 3. Ben Affleck took a part in this movie to be near his then-girlfriend, Gwyneth Paltrow. 4. Dame Judi Dench won an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for her role as Queen Elizabeth I, although her screen time is only 5 minutes 52 seconds in 4 scenes. This is the second shortest performance to win an Oscar. 5. Dame Judi Dench was so taken with the full-sized replica set of the Rose Theater that Miramax gave it to her to take home when filming ended. Variety reported in early 1999 that she was looking for a site and a financial backer, so it could be used as a working theater. Did you know for Grumpy Old Men, Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau did not think that this movie would be anything special, and were surprised that it became a box office success on a budget of around $35 million and making $70 million. 2. After filming this movie in Minnesota in freezing temperatures, Walter Matthau was hospitalized with double pneumonia. 3. Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis were strongly considered for the roles of John and Max, respectively, but both declined because of Martin's frail health, which prevented him from taking the role. Martin passed away in December of 1995, right around the exact same time that this movie's sequel, Grumpier Old Men, was released in theaters. 4. Although his character is supposed to be 94 years old in this movie, Burgess Meredith was in fact 85 years old when this movie was filmed, and was only 17 years older than Jack Lemmon, who portrays his son in this movie. 5. This film was a comeback for Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau, who hadn't made a film together for almost a decade. They'd wind up making a sequel, another buddy comedy, Out to Sea, and a sequel to The Odd Couple, sparked by the success of this film. Did you know for Boyhood, Richard Linklater cast his daughter Lorelai Linklater as Samantha because she always sang and danced around the house and wanted to be in his movies? At about the 3rd or 4th year of filming, she lost interest and asked for her character to be ended. Linklater refused, saying it was too violent for his planning. Lorelai eventually regained her enthusiasm and continued with the project. 2. Eller Coltrane, who plays the boy of the title, was 7 years old when the movie started filming and 19 when it finished. 3. Ethan Hawke presents his fictional son with the gift of the Black Album on his 15th birthday. In real life, Ethan Hawke compiled the individual Beatles songs into the Black Album to help his daughter Maya deal with the breakup of his marriage with Uma Thurman. 4. Richard Linklater and his crew got together annually to film Linklater's script about a boy who will eventually grow up into a first-year college student. Linklater's method behind production was essentially to make several 10 to 15-minute short films over 12 years, each depicting a year in the boy's life, and then edit them together as a feature film. Did you know for the Twilight saga, New Moon? In 2019, Robert Pattinson said in an interview that he had recently watched this film on television and had reminisced about the series and the good memories he has of it. He also said that he thought the soundtrack was ahead of its time. 2. When Michael Sheen was cast as Aro, he had no clue of who the character is, nor what are his characteristics. He learned as much as he could, including the character's backstory, from his daughter Lily Mo Sheen, who is a fan of the series. 3. The scene where Bella is sinking into the depths was to be achieved by putting weights in the actress's pockets and letting her sink in a swimming pool. Kristen Stewart was apprehensive about this, so director Chris Weitz demonstrated to show that there was nothing to be afraid of. As soon as he hit the bottom, he panicked, pulled the weights out of his pockets, and resurfaced, saying, "We can't do that to Kristen." They filmed her from the side and moved the camera backwards to achieve the effect of sinking. 4. The film's American premiere was held on November 16, 2009, which, in the lunar cycle, is a new moon. Did you know for The Talented Mr. Ripley, this is Matt Damon's favorite film of those he has made? 2. Anthony Minghella originally wanted Tom Cruise for the role of Ripley, but after seeing Good Will Hunting, he decided to cast Matt Damon. 3. Director Anthony Minghella offered the role of Dickie Greenleaf to Jude Law after being impressed by seeing him in daily footage from Immortality, which Minghella wife Carolyn Choa was producing. Law, however, initially turned the part down, as he didn't want to play a pretty boy, in a move he later chalked up to insane arrogance. He went back on his decision and accepted the role after seeing who else Minghella was casting. 4. After viewing this film, Tommy Wiseau was so emotionally moved that he vowed to make a film just as, if not more compelling. This film would become The Room. 5. Jude Law learned to play the saxophone, and Matt Damon learned to play the piano for this film. However, while Damon's training enabled him to recreate the proper keyboard fingering, the music heard in the film is played by Sally Heath, who is the Bach, and Gabriel Yared, who is the Vivaldi. Did you know for Steve Jobs, the 3 sequences in the film were filmed on 16mm, 35mm, and digital to illustrate the advancement in Apple's technology across the 16 years of Jobs' life depicted? 2. The 3-act film was shot in sequence. The actors spent 4 weeks on each act, rehearsing for 2 weeks, and then filming for 2 weeks. Kate Winslet said that by Act 3, Michael Fassbender didn't even have his script at the rehearsals, as he had memorized all 180 pages. 3. Seth Rogen met with Steve Wozniak extensively to understand him. Rogen also researched Wozniak's keynotes and speeches online. Rogen cited watching an old 80s video on repeat, featuring Wozniak giving a tour of the Apple Museum at their headquarters as part of his research. Rogen later admitted that he had no idea who Steve Wozniak was prior to working on this movie. 4. David Fincher was originally attached to direct. Sony dropped him after he demanded a $10 million salary and full creative control of the project. Leonardo DiCaprio was originally set to play the lead role, but dropped out to do The Revenant. Christian Bale also passed on the project. Did you know for The Tree of Life, dissatisfied by the look of modern computer-generated visual effects, director Terrence Malick approached veteran special effects supervisor Douglas Trumbull, who was responsible for the visual effects in 2001, A Space Odyssey, to create the visual effects for the film using bygone optical and practical methods. This marks the first feature film Trumbull has provided the effects for in 29 years, his last being Blade Runner. 2. The origin of this film goes back to the late 1970s, when director Terrence Malick was working on a project named Q that would explore the origins of life on Earth. He abandoned the project, but this film contains elements from it. 3. Sean Penn was very critical of the movie and Terrence Malick's direction. I didn't at all find on the screen the emotion of the script, which is the most magnificent one that I've ever read. A clearer and more conventional narrative would have helped the film without, in my opinion, lessening its beauty and its impact. Frankly, I'm still trying to figure out what I'm doing there and what I was supposed to add in that context. What's more, Terry himself never managed to explain it to me clearly. Did you know for Happy Feet, initially, Prince refused to allow the use of his song, Kiss, for the film? However, after seeing footage of the film, he not only changed his mind and allowed the song to be used, but also wrote an additional original song for the film to use in the closing credits. 2. The dancers for the dance sequences not only had to wear motion capture sensor suits for their movement, but also had to wear special headgear to simulate the penguins' beaks to force them to accommodate the anatomical feature for their characters dancing. 3. Steve Irwin was originally cast to play an albatross that Mumble encounters as he crosses the ocean after the aliens. The albatross scene was cut from the final movie, but you can see it in the DVD extras. The scene was cut before animation was complete, so no actual animation existed until they were preparing the DVD for release. The director and the production crew felt that they needed to do something following Steve Irwin's death, so they completed the scene and included it in the DVD in remembrance of him. 4. Brittany Murphy, Hugh Jackman, Robin Williams, and Nicole Kidman all did their own singing.